Betsy Cohen-Callis, Claire Kinberg, and Rena Bernards, who had been leaders of New Jewish Agenda, met with Helen Bennett and Ilana Lerman, activists with If Not Now, a group that seeks to end American Jewish support for the Israeli occupation, in a dialogue facilitated by Eliza Becker of the American Jewish Peace Archive. New Jewish Agenda was a multi-issue grassroots organization founded in December 1980 as a Jewish voice among progressives and a progressive voice among Jews. The group endorsed the two-state solution in recognition of the PLO, positions which were controversial in their time.
Because when I think of the attacks that we got, we just didn't care.
Right.
None of us had big jobs in the Jewish community for the most part.
Right.
We had some rabbis and stuff, but it didn't create a lot of negative energy. We got, excommunicated.
Right.
Did you guys hear that story?
Oh my God.
So
Sounds good.
Excommunicated.
After the war in Lebanon, we had put an ad in the newspaper against the war. So 3 rabbis, apparently there's this ancient Jewish custom that 3 rabbis can snuff out the candles of Jews who have deserved to be excommunicated. And they did this in the Tewksbury Holiday Inn.
In Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts, and they excommunicated all members of New Jewish Agenda and a few other people like Noam Chomsky and
They just throw them in like
Yeah.
Well, so what happened was that then they issued a press release announcing this, and it was picked up by JTA and by the Associated Press, and so it appeared all across the United States. It was in the New York Times and
Oh my gosh.
and in every major paper. And I'll just say, because I was one of the people who was named, like it was me, Noam Chomsky, Everett Gendler, and Don Perlstein. The 4 of us were named as the people who had been excommunicated.
It's so funny.
And I have to say, it continues to haunt me to this day.
Really?
Yes, because I'll say 2 things. First of all, in that period of time, like a year later, I started going out on dates, and I was like, I really wanted to meet somebody, and so I went to this shadchanit, this matchmaker, and she fixed me up with this guy, and he, we're talking, and I told him the story because I thought it was hysterical. He got up and he walked out. He said, "Are you serious? I can't sit here with you." And he got up and walked out of the room.
You didn't want him anyways.
Of course! But it was like, this was a joke, right? But he didn't think so. And so then, so along comes this assault on me, which began around 3.5 years ago, and like was really vicious attacks that appeared against me in the Jewish press, and other Jewish newspapers were publishing things. And so in one of the articles, I think it went in the Jewish press, somebody did research and said, and furthermore, she was excommunicated, and she was a New Jewish Agenda.